Ladies and gentlemen, kids of all ages, welcome back to another Jaggernaut podcast. Michael, woo, with my brother Franklin. Franklin, you ready?
Um,
1, 2, 3.
Duval.
Duval! We got a win! Woo!
Yeah,
Not
worthy of a
only a
Duval
win,
finally.
but it was a 17-point comeback, the second largest comeback in Jacksonville Jaguar
Oh,
history.
is it really?
It is. And Trevor Lawrence brought us back.
Yep.
Frank, what say you, man?
Okay, so I'm not going to change my perspective or opinion from what I said last week in regards to this win. Even when we talked about it, I said, look, this win will change very little for me if they win. Because what we had saw up to that point was a 5-game pattern. So remember, the issue was they give us a little reprieve of us getting hopeful just to let us down.
They tease. They're
So
a nasty tease.
yeah, I'm a little worried about that. The Raiders are not a great team. I did say that it doesn't. If the Raiders out jag the Jags, that's not going to. Um, and that's in the eye of the beholder. Is that what
Which I
happened?
was so hopeful for, just because I think McDaniels is a horrible coach.
Now, did you see any coaching issues though?
Yeah,
Really, I
yeah.
don't remember them.
Okay, so in the first half, dude, do you remember Devontae Adams tore us up?
Yeah.
They didn't go to him at all in the second half. Now, I don't know if that was Derek Carr, but I know if I'm the coach and we don't throw to him in the first two series, I'm like, hey, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
That was the winning formula, and they went away from it for some reason.
Now,
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
assumed maybe we made an adjustment. Is that too optimistic on my part for our coaching staff?
Based off the last 5 games, yes, because we didn't adjust at all. But I will say I did see some stuff. Right? Do you remember when I told you that was it? I don't think it was Smoot that was standing up. I think it was Robertson Harris. It was a third down
Oh,
play,
right. Yeah.
and I think it was Fadakasi over the center, and everybody else standing up. And I'm like, oh, do they not know they're about to hike the ball? And then sure enough, they hiked it, and certain guys blitzed and certain guys, dropped back. I hadn't seen that up to that point. So there was definitely a new wrinkle in there. I don't know if they put that in specifically for this game or if they're trying to work some stuff out. I don't know. Is it possible? Of course it's possible. Based off the last 5 games, I'd say we made no adjustments.
Yeah. I wasn't sure. I just assumed, the fact that that was one of the criticisms going into this game was it felt like we did not make halftime adjustments well. And that was
You mean at all, right? I mean,
yeah,
Wells at least you
or at
do it,
all.
right? Yeah.
It's sometimes it's hard to tell. I mean, unless you really go back and break down the tape, and I looked at it was obviously a tale of two halves. Devontae Adams just was electric in the first half, not to be heard from again in the second half, to their detriment because they didn't score another point. Meanwhile, we did. It was like
27, 17.
it was 24 unanswered, or was it 27 in there? I don't know, but there was a lot of
I
points
don't know. It
unanswered.
was something like that.
Definitely a
I
tale
think
of
it
two
was. I
halves.
think it
I
was
just
20
don't know
points.
why.
I think it was 20 points
I
unanswered.
I I I really need to get a hold of like some. I know I think there's a subscription plan or something where you can get a hold of the game tape or what have you, and sort of just start breaking some of this stuff down to get an idea of it. It's just and that's as much as I can say at this point. So it just felt like Devonte Adams was having his way with us, and I guess I'm just assuming nobody's that stupid to just never go back to the guy because he was open for the most
You're talking
part in the
about the
first
same
half
coach that drafted Tim Tebow in the first round to be a quarterback.
and took him to the playoffs. He went to the
I
playoffs with
get it.
Tebow now.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
You
I'm
want to
not
throw him
singing
a bone, throw him a bone.
I'm not singing Josh McDaniels praises, but I just can't believe anybody would be that stupid to move away from Devontae. I would say that maybe we would go into it based on what I remember hearing from the interviews from Caldwell and Peterson before that Raiders matchup. They were specifically asked about covering Devontae Adams, and they gave differing answers, and not just between the two, but more or less they sounded as if they didn't know what they were going to do. Were they going to put Tyson on him? Were they going to double up and put Tyson on the second best player? I don't know what they were going to do. Evidently, they were figuring that out in the first half. That's the way I kind of looked at it. And whatever they discovered in the halftime adjustment worked. I guess. I don't know. I just can't imagine that he's running wild again and Carr's just going, I already threw it to you a bunch of times. I just can't imagine
Right?
that happen.
It's possible, but yeah. So anyway, we won. Woo! Enjoy it. It feels good, right? Because now we got Kansas City in Kansas City, which is a hell of a place to play. I think we're 9.5 dogs.
Yeah.
Woo!
So, do you think that what do you think about Trevor Lawrence's performance in this game, in the Raiders game? Do you think that I statistically it wasn't like an amazing game, but I think efficiency wise, it's the type of game you hope to see for a player who struggled
So
with the things he struggled with previous to the game.
here's what I liked about Trevor Lawrence in this game. He didn't miss a whole lot. He wasn't behind a whole lot,
Right.
right? And another thing, how many games? Okay, so 5 losses in a row. Every single loss, I'm like, run, just run.
Yep.
In this game, he ran more.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's not rocket science. It's like a point guard or a shooting guard or whatever. You want to get them in easy few buckets,
Yep.
right? To get going, to get hot, to get their mojo, right? Trevor Lawrence needs a few runs. Like literally, we need to make sure we got 3 or 4 runs scripted for him somewhere in there, one almost somewhere in the start of the game,
Yeah, I agree.
right? Let him get. Do you know what is it they used to say? That sometimes players can't play till they get hit.
Right.
You know, it's
Yep.
like they're nervous, they got this energy, and they don't, but then they get popped, and it's like boom, boom, they shift into a different gear. When Trevor runs, he's going to take a hit normally. Normally, take some kind of hit or something. But to me, that gets him in the game,
Yeah.
you know, and it puts pressure on the defense because now we have to cover Trevor Lawrence. Dude, when I saw him doing that, and some of them were off script, and I think that's what we need.
Yeah.
He has an opening. Dude, you see an opening and you know you can get 4 yards and you need 3, go get the damn first down. Don't throw the ball. Don't worry about it. Go get the first down. If you can get the touchdown, go get the touchdown. Don't worry about throwing it.
Yeah, I'm a believer, especially early on. Like you said, there's so many that you said it perfectly. It gets the stokes the fire, primes the pump, whatever you want to say, and then also what it does do, I would think it would do this. You know, the defense is focused on everybody but the quarterback. It's why the running quarterbacks have such high averages and do so well in the league. It's just difficult for the defense to cover the quarterback as a running back. And on those plays, off scripted, like you talked about, it makes a lot of sense when it's there to run, because what that does then is that puts that just a little bit of extra stuff, especially early on, so that when the corners are in man coverage, trailing, maybe they look back just, worried, and you get an extra little step, you can throw the ball over their head. It might lead to passes later on in the game that might not be there otherwise.
Or a safety or a linebacker shadowing you. And
Right.
you're
Oh,
sitting in
yeah.
the pocket.
Yeah, exactly. And then you
So,
can dump it over the top because they're down further other than they otherwise
yep.
would be. Yeah, that sort of thing. It just makes a lot of sense. And like you said, the biggest thing is just um, there's I know that I think Doug's an analytics type guy. That stuff gets a little. I like analytics, but you can't take the human factor out of it. And
Well, it's funny being a data analyst. Here's what I can tell you about data. I can tell you what I can paint you whatever picture you want.
right,
If you want that Trevor Lawrence is horrible, I can paint that picture. However, if you want that he's a Pro Bowler, I can give you stats. I can say that he's the greatest quarterback in the third quarter, down by 7, with the wind blowing in from the west.
right,
But I bet you I can find stats that back that up. And I'll just give you those stats.
right. Yeah, and that's
So I
that's what
mean,
I mean. The
yeah,
human
you have to be
factor.
careful with data.
And this is
Data's
what I've said
good.
about play
Yeah.
calling. If play calling was a science, then you'd have a computer doing it. The fact that they have not moved to that, and the fact that you can tell that play callers get into a mode where they're just on fire. They're just the next play sets up the next play, which and the defense is just on their heels. I'm thinking it from the offensive coordinator standpoint, and I'm sure it works the same way with defensive coordinators as well. That's a human factor. That's feeling the game. That's intuition. There's all that goes into it. And that's the point. You run Trevor. It just builds that human factor. Like you said, getting hit. Don't know why it changes things. It just does. Run, get in, feel like you're in the game. Get some
Yep.
mud on you a little bit, or dirt, or what, a grass stain
Yes.
or something. I don't know.
Yep.
But should we start Dewan Smoot? Does he need to start? Because he's the only one that is
Yep.
consistently getting to the quarterback. It
Well,
feels.
okay. I would honestly ask Smoot, if you want to start, I think you've earned the right to start. However, do you like being full of energy coming in off the bench? Do you think that gives you a benefit in the second or third, fourth quarter? If you think that, then we're going to keep you as a high priority rotation guy. That makes sense?
Yeah,
And then we'll let the other two guys sort of fight it out, wear down the offensive line. And then when they get tired, we'll put you in.
it kind of goes back to that analytics thing, because it's like the stats
So
show
yeah,
Smoot
but
gets
I
more
I
plays,
agree.
he'll get more sacks, but that may not actually translate.
Yeah, it may not show up that way. So
Right.
that's why I think I would talk to him and see what he's feeling during those times.
Yeah.
And if he's like, yeah, no, my tank is on full the whole damn game, then I'll be like, look, if this is what you're saying, all right, then I put him back in there. Now, if it starts not to work out that way, I'd put him back. I'd be like, no, no, you were better as a rotational guy. That's just it.
Maybe they need to just start rotating more. Smoot kind of jumping from side to side.
I
Um,
don't know.
I
I
don't
will
know.
say that the defense was better this one. I mean, so I know Trevor Lawrence has been bad in a lot of games. He's had issues, but in a lot of these games we lost, we were winning in the fourth quarter, and our defense gave it up. Our defense actually, I think, stepped up and performed much better in the fourth quarter than they did in the third quarter. And I don't think the
Yeah.
Raiders were able to get anything going. I think defensive play calling seemed to be a little bit better, or it seemed to be right. And the players just seemed to step up a little bit more. Smoot stepped up a little bit more. The linebacker stepped up a little bit more. You know, Dewey, my man Dewey,
Do
right?
we?
Because hey,
Yeah.
I'm always on him, and I
Yeah.
was like, cut him, get him out of here, cut him. Jenkins went down hurt,
Yeah.
and Dewey stepped up and played great.
Yeah. He
Woo!
did.
So,
He sure
Dewey, I
did.
never give you your dues, brother. Thank you for a wonderful game, man. You came in, you stepped up. Thank you.
He's full of
So,
energy too. You could tell when he
yes,
came
he
in. He
was
was
hype.
like,
So
yeah,
there we go. I like I said, I was always ripping him. Now I'm not ripping him. I wanted to make sure I called him out because like I said, I always call him out when I think he's doing something wrong or when he
I, I
didn't do what I liked.
I
But
think we have the makings for the defense to be good still. Um, They still look talented. They even when the Raiders were moving the ball, they just seemed like they were close to making a play a lot of times. They just were a half step. So the hope for me is that Caldwell gets a better feel, the team gets a better feel for each other, and they begin to gel a little bit and become a better defense than what we've seen the past few games before this one. And maybe this game is a glimpse of some possibilities. Speaking of, they better bring their A game this week.
Yeah, I mean, so without Tyreek Hill, the Chiefs don't scare me as much.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes, he's still Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelsey, he's still Travis Kelsey. You know, so, but really, that's it. Did
Yeah.
anybody else scare? Does Juju Smith-Schuster scare you?
No. No.
McCole Hardman,
No. It's just Patrick Mahomes, and that's all you need. To Kelsey. Uh.
Kelsey, Mahomes, right? And the other guys, they're good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that they're bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They're good, and they're
And
a
we can make them
better
look good.
team. And shit, dude, we can. I mean, we can make them look like Super Bowl champs, which they
Yeah.
technically are. Um, so we can make them look like that. And I'm not asking for a win from the Jags. If we win, woohoo, sweet. I'm not asking for that. Don't go out there and give them the game. Make them earn it.
Here's something that
No,
I'm thinking too. It's an interesting um, dynamic to me. They just got done playing the Titans, and the Titans are similar to us in style, in that um, they're a bit of a kind of a hard nosed team, um, and I almost there's part of me that wonders if the the type of physical um, experience of playing a sort of in the ditches type team, and then have another team come in after that that's very similar. I almost want there's part of me that wonders if this could be a nice setup for us to have are we catching the Chiefs sore after that Titans game? Patrick Mahomes threw what 400 and something yards, I think. He threw tons of 60 something passes. I mean, it was like they don't run the ball at all. Um, and I'm thinking he'll be fresh now, but he started to not throw passes that well toward the end of that game. I just think it was a physical altercation for them, and I'm wondering if there's a possibility that might help us out. I don't know that we experienced the same thing against the Raiders. It didn't feel that way to me. So
yeah, I mean,
maybe I'm being overly hopeful.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm not expecting to win here. All I want is no turnovers in the end zone or red zone.
Yeah.
I don't want to give them any personal fouls when it's 3rd and 30. I don't want to jag it up. I want to make them earn it. I think if we play well and we make them earn it, I think we have a shot to be in the game with 5 minutes left in the game. Now, can they come all the way down, kick a field goal, take the lead, and win? Sure, they can. But that's the type of game I want.
It,
If we if we put it in Trevor Lawrence's hands with 1:30 left and he doesn't do it, okay, cool. I'm not upset. But if we're not in this game at halftime, or
like that
we
last game.
start right, we start the 3rd quarter and ETN fumbles, it's picked up, ran back, and then it
Yeah.
just goes straight to shit from
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
That's going to bother me. That's where I get on this team. Or what happens when we get a lead in the 4th quarter?
That's why it's so important for Trevor to run, like we talked about. I just
Yep.
if he can step back, if it ain't there, just take off.
Just take
It's
off,
it's gonna
especially
help
if you see it.
everything.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like if you see it, because sometimes you get back there and man, those seas will part. Be like, woo.
Yep.
If you see that and just go,
Yeah.
take it and go. Because if again you move the change, you eat up the clock, move the change, you eat up the
Eat up the
clock,
clock.
you help ETN out. It helps you out in your rhythm. There's so much benefit from it. The only negative would be if he got hurt or got hit
Sure.
and got hurt. That
Well,
would be the only negative.
that would
But
be my game plan if I'm being honest. I'm gonna have some deep sort of routes. At least two of my routes are gonna be deep on either side. I'm going to I'm going to want some quick passes, but I'm going to basically tell Trevor, look, man, if it's not there, you need to take off. I want to dump. I want some screens. I want some dumps. I want ETN involved. Even Hasty. I want my tight ends involved. I want to be able to uh, emphasize to him not to throw in this type of game because you need to move the chains. It does not matter how many yards you get. You just need to get positive yards. And if that means running the ball, that's great because you're going to start chewing the clock up. You're going to keep Mahomes on the side,
yeah,
and that can only help us. It
yeah, if,
does worry me that they don't care about running because that is actually the one thing that the defense has been good at is stopping the run. So if they're not interested in running, that the one thing we don't seem to be that great at in usually is stopping the pass. So that does concern me. But I think the fact that Mahomes had to do that last week, I'm just wondering if maybe they'll be a little bit. Maybe it works at a disadvantage to us because they've been there, done that, and they'll be even better than they were against the Titans. We'll see how that plays out. But I think that's the way I would approach this game. Should be fun to watch though. It's a nice opportunity, kind of like when we went up against the Eagles, just to see where we're at.
right, this is one of the better
Are we
teams.
out of the slump, or
Yeah.
are we just the slump this year? And that Raiders game was just an aberration. So it'll be nice to see. I don't know if it'll be nice. It's a nice opportunity. We'll see how it
Yeah, it can be a
transpires.
nice opportunity. So, and that's really all I want. So, I don't know. I can see this game going from us winning to us getting killed. I can see anywhere in between there actually happening. So, I don't really know what to say of this game. I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a good team. It's Andy Reid. As we know, Doug Peterson is from the Andy Reid tree. So, it's father versus son, something like that.
Yeah. Well, maybe this is Star Wars, A New Hope, and we have Darth Vader, and Obi-Wan gets struck down.
We can only hope. We can only hope. Doug, take the high ground.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other strategic thing is, and a lot of teams are doing this to a lot of quarterbacks, is they're playing the long game, and they're doing that with Mahomes. They're not necessarily blitzing much. They're not too worried about trying to get after Mahomes, um, because apparently that's a bad thing to do to a lot of these quarterbacks because they'll burn you. They typically see what's coming, and they're dropping more into the back, into the secondary, kind of just clouding that up. And I guess what I'm getting at is we're not that great at getting to the quarterback anyway.
So
So
just run our base four,
just
or hell,
just
even
let them
three.
dink and dunk and hope.
Now, I did hear Leon Searcy on the radio today, and he said that Kansas City's right side is not very good. The right side of the offensive line. So we may be able to stack that side with a blitz here or there, a good time blitz, and it maybe actually get home. I
It
don't know.
it would be nice for Josh Allen to show up. I think he's close, honestly. Sacks come in bunches, blah blah blah. So I'm not super worried about Josh. I know a lot of other people are. I think Trayvon will be good too. He has to get some pass moves, but we knew that going in. This is not a surprise. He's a long-term project, so that was not sure why you take it number one overall, but we knew that. So yeah, I'm just trying to keep Mahomes in the pocket, make him throw, which is weird to say. On paper, our linebackers should be good, but they haven't been. Kelsey's probably going to have a hell of a game. It makes me wonder if they're going to put
Maybe,
Muma in
but
anymore.
it would be nice to put Lloyd on him. I'd like to see how Lloyd does on him. So,
Athletically, he should be the perfect guy, the perfect style linebacker. But I don't know that I don't know what it is about Lloyd. He's just not. He's just not where he's supposed to be very often, or it seems that way. And the fact that he got benched, I don't say benched, but Muma came in to replace him for, I think, like 5 plays, might be an indictment of that. Because we've been talking about this for weeks now. Our linebackers, and it ain't just Lloyd either. It's Olakun too. He's to be a tackling machine. I wish his tackles would be a little bit more on the other side of the line of scrimmage, or as opposed to downfield after a misstep. So yeah, we need our linebackers to step up their game, and with Kelsey, and our secondary's got to hold on for the ride. That's basically the way, and Trevor's got to manage that game again.
not jag it up.
Don't jag it up.
It's what it is. Our offense can't jag it up, and our defense got to show up. So get pressure with 4, and hopefully our linebackers show up, and then our secondary just hold on. That sounds good to me.
Yeah, and I think that'll be a good barometer. How Kelsey's going to get his, but are they contested? Are we being physical with him? Are we annoying him? If we can see that, I think we might have a shot then, at least to make it close. So
it sounds good to me. So you heard it here first. Frank says we have a shot.
Vegas doesn't, though, I don't think.
No,
maybe like 10 points.
Yeah, almost 10 points. The double digits in the NFL. Woo.
Yeah, that's not a great
that
endorsement.
Is not nice. Yeah.
So
but Vegas is finally catching on, I think. Although I said that last week, and then here we go. So I think the Raiders were a favorite.
Well, yeah, there you go. And sometimes it isn't about who's going to win; it's about covering that spread. So
yeah. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for tuning in. Hit like, subscribe. It's free.
We don't charge you.
Yeah, we don't charge you. And then just drop a comment, anything you think, tell us what you think about this game.
Yep.
So I got the Chiefs winning. I just want it to be close.
I think that's the only reasonable thing to do. As a Jag fan, you can't hope for more than that. So anything else is gravy.
All right. Good night. Thanks for tuning in.
Night, guys.